Hello, and welcome to another episode of Study of X, the X-Men podcast, where we go through the Krakoa era of X-Men comics. I am your host, Tim, and with me as always is Chris.
I am so excited to get back to the Hellions. I love them so much.
And Sergio.
Historically, I have not liked the Hellions as much, but I'm actually excited to discuss them this time around. I really enjoyed that issue.
Yeah, a bit of a change of pace with the Hellions here.
Yeah, it's fun to go from everybody being very serious about this entire event, and then it's this crew of, I don't want to say losers, because they are not losers, but they did get the short end of the stick.
Yeah, just a bit. But yeah, we got a couple of issues here. We got Hellions, the last Ed Brisson issue of New Mutants, and Cable. So I guess we should probably jump into this. We have delayed recording long enough.
Hey, that sounds good to me.
Yeah.
So, with Hellions number 5 here, part of the X of Swords saga, this is written by Zeb Wells, and it was released in October of 2020. And we're going to open up here 2 days ago before the culling, as Empath is resurrected back in the giant egg hatchery, I guess you could call it. And I don't think death has changed him.
No.
Chris, can I just remind you of one thing? Remember always that our mutations were born from pain. When we train our gifts on our enemies, we train our sorrow, our past, our battered souls. Let us be wary of using these sacred things for war.
Right, thank you, Nightcrawler, for those kind words. As, you know, we should remember those as Empath comes out and basically just tells Xavier to F off.
Props to him. I love him.
Yeah, just immediately just get your hands off me. Yeah, just this interaction's very fun. He asks where the cheering mutants are, and they're like, yeah, they didn't show up for this. You should just like leave through the back, man.
Yeah, I do like how Xavier and Hope do kind of give him the benefit of the doubt here, and he just immediately proves that, yeah, no, he's an asshole.
Yeah, just nobody's interested in talking to him. Everybody just kind of leaves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, can always appreciate someone who pisses off Xavier.
Yeah.
And then I love him living with Hatch, someone who gives a fuck.
Yeah.
Yes, that's
very
a really good one.
That's a great line. Yeah. Great opener here. Really good early indication of how this issue's gonna go. I like all of the banter here. It's so good.
So, I think they really kind of nail, like, the character clashes here.
Yeah, no, everybody has a very distinct voice here, especially as we're gonna keep going. But before we hop into what happens next, I do want to read the intro here that they have where they list all of the characters that are going to be in this issue. And it says, champions of Krakoa were selected to each retrieve a special sword in order to participate in a cross-dimensional tournament against the champions of Arakko. Unsurprisingly, none of the Hellions were among the chosen, but that doesn't mean they don't have a role to play in the ensuing conflict.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Accurate.
Yeah, they got nothing to do with any of this. But yeah, we cut to the Quiet Council, and we're down 3 members. Cyclops and Jean are off in space, and Apocalypse is just, hanging out somewhere.
He's currently dying in the healing gardens, I think.
Yeah. And that's, importantly, the members who would probably vote no on the upcoming vote we're about to have.
Is Storm not part of the Quiet Council?
Oh, yeah, she's missing too. Yeah, Cyclops isn't on the council. I don't know what the heck I was thinking. It's Jean and Storm and Apocalypse are the ones that are gone here.
Right, okay.
But yeah, Storm's currently has her sword plugged into the ground somewhere.
Yeah, she has to go stand there for a while.
Yeah.
And there's a Cypher hanging out in the background.
Yeah, just
chilling
lounging on the tree. Yeah.
Again, also, shout-outs to the voice of Sinister here, just throughout the entire thing. For Hellions, this is great, but I love him here. He just stands up and gets in Exodus's way, and just continues to make jokes about his wonderful cape.
Yeah.
Fantastic stuff from Mr. Sinister. This entire issue.
Yeah,
He's
it's
just so sassy to absolutely everybody.
Uh-huh.
yeah. He stands up to give a speech. Gets chastised for standing up. It's yeah. I don't. It's very funny. But yeah. So Sinister proposes, what if the Hellions go in and go to Arakawa and steals their swords?
Therefore,
And
they would have to forfeit because they don't have all of their swords.
yeah. And we win without like having to spill any blood. No big deal. We did the thing.
You know, a good teaching lesson for these poor wayward mutants in the Hellions. And it's a good thing, too, because this does seem to pass, but Exodus also has a very good idea of, well, they're obviously gonna need their leader to lead them through this horrible trial, so obviously Sinister's gonna go with them.
Yeah. So very specifically, this is a 9 council vote, and yeah, the votes for this plan, because Xavier isn't really willing to send mutants into Otherworld to potentially die. So Xavier, Magneto, Nightcrawler, Kitty Pryde all vote no, but Sinister, Exodus, Mystique, and Emma Frost are all voting yes. Oh, and Sebastian, so that makes 5. Specifically, he gets this vote through because they don't have the full count.
Yeah. Or else this absolutely would not have happened.
Yeah. But yeah, Exodus has a suggestion here of you should go too. You should lead them. Sinister was not expecting this.
No, and he's very upset that his wonderful plan has been hijacked here.
Immediately calls for a vote.
And everybody who just voted votes the same again. There are no changes in the votes.
Except for Sinister, who doesn't want to vote, so it looks like it doesn't fail. Then he starts sassing Magneto about his daughter being a bad influence on Havoc. And Magneto changes his vote.
So poor Sinister now has to go to this very dangerous world.
Yeah.
But before we get there, we do have more information on another piece of Otherworld.
Oh, before that, I just wanted to mention, I think it's already been mentioned, but I really like all of how the dialogue works here. There is so much crosstalk going on, like characters interrupting each other and like talking in the background between each other as someone else speaks. I think it's really well conveyed in these panels. I think this is one of the better examples of how to do that I've seen in this entire podcast's run.
Yeah,
it's used to really good effect. Like it often very funny.
Yeah, it's I feel like it's hard to almost describe it, but yeah, it makes the dialogue very fluid. Like it's like when someone's like people will interrupt and like characters will immediately like come back with something, and it makes the dialogue flow incredibly well.
And I think it communicates how the back and forth in the council works, with people like trying to overpower another by just continuing to talk and ignoring what they're saying in a way that's really funny.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like there's a line here about like just mid-speech you have just Mystique just chiming in like really no need to stand, and then Sinister just kind of walks on over her.
Yeah.
There's a part where Sinister's just cracking jokes about like Cypher, and Cypher pops in to tell Krakoa to just ignore him, and yeah, it's very funny. It works very well. It's very fluid. This is some top tier dialogue.
It also manages to get like everyone in the panel really well by rotating the camera around the Quiet Council like circle in a way that's really effective, and I think it's just a show of skill, getting everyone seated in the right positions so you can show the camera with the people that need to be on there so the speech bubbles fit and everything. It's a lot of work, I think.
Yeah, like one that like really comes to mind is the paneling that's done when we're showing the people that are voting.
Yeah,
because the first it's like the bottom 2 panels here, and it's like first you get when they decide to vote for Mr. Sinister to lead the team, you get the shot here of Exodus, Mystique, and Emma raising their hand with Kitty and Magneto in the shot not raising their hand, and then it kind of like slides on over to behind Magneto and Xavier, and we get Nightcrawler and Sebastian, or Nightcrawler not raising his hand and Sebastian raising his hand. It's very well done.
Mm-hmm. And
like
considering there are 10 characters in this entire scene, it doesn't feel like it's that crowded. You know, everybody, as Sergio said, has their time to say something and do something, and then it just kind of keeps going.
Yeah.
I also really like what this exchange says about Emma, just how she ends up falling with the people in favor of the plan, and how she was the one to actually take the suggestion seriously in a way that if she hadn't chimed in to consider it, I don't think it would have been taken as seriously as it is ultimately.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, she kind of legitimizes it.
Yes, absolutely. She's not stroking her chin, but she might as well be just considering the possibilities of sending in this strike team to steal some swords.
Yeah. It is very interesting, yes.
Yeah. Just a real good bunch of stuff shown in a few pages.
So we get our first data page here, which is another data page telling us about one of the kingdoms of Otherworld. This is Dryador, which is the fiefdom of Ameth is the new name. But this is the kingdom that Arakoa captured.
Yeah, it's the one we see at the start where there are those kind of aquatic-like mutants that try to send warning to Saturnine. We just get some more backstory about it, but you don't need too much of it. It used to be a really nice one, but now the oceans have boiled.
Yeah,
and everything is bad.
You don't want the oceans boiling.
Yeah, there's not much here. I do really appreciate the detail at the end about how there's some entrepreneurs have been in and out of the land already, seeking the finest fresh catch in all of Otherworld, and I think that's very funny. Like, people are just like, oh yeah, like, the water's boiling the fish for us, so we can just go get, like, some pretty good fish here.
Mm-hmm. Just ignore all the demons and the, crazy mutants, but other than that, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I gotta say, I don't love these data pages. They feel so out of place. I have to, struggle to keep my attention in them because I just want to continue what's going on in between instead of taking a pause to read about this place I don't really care about.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair. It is a lot of exposition that's just kind of given to us over these last couple of issues.
Is there going to be a champion from each location or something like that? Is this going to pay off eventually?
It'll pay off, but not in the way you think.
Okay, well.
Yeah.
I'll just put it that way.
I might end up revisiting them when and if it becomes relevant, because at the moment I just struggle to keep up with all of this lore.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair. It is a lot being thrown at us, on top of the stories that are happening.
Yeah.
But we're back with the rest of the Hellions crew in the Hellions Staging Theater, aka Purgatory, which is a great name for this team's hideout.
Uh-huh.
And we have the crew here, minus Empath, basically discussing about the fact that they are going to have to go to Otherworld, and Havoc is bringing to light that, hey, resurrection is not going to work normally if we die there. You guys realize that, right? And everyone basically just kind of brushes it off. It's no big deal.
Yeah, we're the Hellions. Don't care about that stuff.
Yeah, a lot of crosstalk going on here as well, especially in the first panel. There's 4 people talking over each other, just off having their own conversations.
There's a lot of stuff here that I really like. There's little details I think that just adds a lot of personality to these characters. Orphan Maker calling Grey Crow Grey Cow, and Grey Crow just correcting him in the next bit of dialogue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very short little 1-2 lines here and there that just add up over time.
Yeah, they like we go on a big aside, and then Havoc is just interrupts and says like feels like we're getting in the weeds here. Like I like this a lot.
Yeah.
They're trying to explain Orphan Maker why Empath is coming back. Yeah, it works.
I do like that Orphan Maker is one of the first to question, like, okay, but if Empath died and now he's back, is he still Empath or is he not?
Yeah, there's like a weird examination here that I feel like we don't normally really get about how like the resurrection stuff works. Like Grey Crow kind of talks about like from where the empath I shot is standing, yeah. From where the empath that's alive is standing, no. And like just says like yeah, the alive empath's opinion is probably more important right now, so that's probably what we're gonna go with.
Yeah, giving an answer to the question, but it's still opening that up for more discussion if they ever want to go for it, which I think is fun because, yeah, like you said, it's not really something they've done yet.
Yeah. But yeah, meanwhile, back in Bar Sinister, Sinister has made himself a clone, or thawed out a clone. He just had this one on standby.
I do want to say this entire sequence, it's hard to explain all of this crosstalk as we're talking about it, because you can't really quote it, because it doesn't really work. But this entire sequence with the two Sinisters is incredible. It's great, it's really funny, they're cutting each other off and trying to figure out which one of them is going to go into Araco, an Otherworld, and do this dangerous mission. And in order to figure it out, they do the noble contest, which is rock, paper, scissors.
It's really funny.
Yeah.
It's just, it works so well. It's so well, like, written out. It's very funny. It's like electric in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like just the opening bit here, we cut just immediately to Sinister explaining the plan of like, okay, this is what you're going to do. You're going to go here. You're going to go do this. Enter the Starlight Citadel, go through Dryador, enter Arakawa, get the prize. You did the thing. And he's like, okay. He's like, all right, head off. And the clone just like looks at him. He's like, okay, you can go. And like it's very funny. Like the clone's just like, wait, I'm not going.
Are you kidding? This is a suicide mission and I just got here.
Like, you just woke me up. You want me to go do what? Like, yeah. Like,
it's fun. It's so much fun.
Yeah. It's also really funny how this kind of subverts how clones are usually employed, where, you've got your own personal army of clones that are like subservient to you because you're the main one, but that relationship doesn't really exist here. Like they're both equally likely to end up going because they recognize that they are effectively the same person.
Yeah, like this clone wakes up and he's just like, what, you think I'm interested in doing that?
Yeah, he's got just as much authority as the one who thought him out, which is very funny. That power dynamic just does not exist.
Yeah, it kind of calls back to House and Powers of X when we first saw Sinister in Bar Sinister, where we're like, oh hey, I'm Mr. Sinister, and then he gets shot by another one, and he's like, haha, jokes, I was Mr. Sinister.
Yeah.
So, and it kind of continues to play off of that because we don't actually see who wins the noble contest here. And we don't know which Sinister is going to go off into Otherworld. We just know that it is one of them.
It kind of doesn't matter. But yeah, it's a lot of fun.
And then we get another data page. This time it's Avalon, which if you have been reading along with us in Excalibur, you know exactly about this place. It is the home of Arthurian legend and is tied intrinsically to Earth's Britain. It is now currently ruled by King Jaime Braddock, who is a little not fully there, but also incredibly powerful.
Yeah,
really
this is basically a summary of the history of Avalon that we have. We've read this. This is Excalibur.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I get why they did it. It's an event. People are probably reading this who might not have read Excalibur, so you kind of need that. But, if you've been keeping up with it like we have, it's just treading the same ground. Yeah.
I like these better when it's the ones that we don't know too much about.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I thought the Everforge was neat.
Yeah, the Everforge is fun, and, they have the creepy vampire place, and all of this other stuff. Like, it gets my mind going for ideas, which I really like, but Yeah, with Avalon, not so much. So we meet the rest of the Hellions as they gather at the Avalon Gate, and Empath is back. Again, a lot of really fun crosstalk as Empath learns that he got shot in the head by Greycrow, and Greycrow again says, "If you use your powers on me, I will do it again."
I like how nobody explicitly tells him. He just kind of puts it together. Psylocke says, "Okay, remember Greycrow's warning not to use your powers to manipulate the team. Just that's important. Remember that." And he just kind of like stops and just says, "Did you shoot me in the head?"
Yep. Nobody's just gonna explain it to him, and Greycrow just absolutely is like, "Oh yeah, of course I did."
Yeah, like that's what happened. Don't do it again. It is like Greycrow is like that dude who says, "Don't mess with me, I will punch you," and then you mess with him and he will indeed punch you. It's like, yeah, just don't mess with that guy. There's sometimes there's just dudes who you just don't mess with, and
Yes.
Greycrow was one of those guys.
Absolutely.
Does Empath have the same ability as those twins from New Mutants? Is it functionally like the same thing?
Functionally, but I think his is specifically emotions directed toward him.
Yeah.
Okay. Alright. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and I think one of the twins will change your memory of events, but the other one is emotion. So yeah, that would be whoever the emotion one is.
Yeah. But yeah, I think it is similar, but yeah, I don't think it's exactly the same. But that's it. The Sinister's here and says, "Okay, we're done. Let's get this over with."
Yep, and they head through the gate into King Jaime's court, where Princess Silkmane, the horse, is trying to be tamed by this poor lackey, and it's not working.
Yeah.
This is a very large and majestic horse that just does not want to be here.
No, but this guy said he was an equestrian, raised around horses.
No, I'm King Jaime. That is absolutely incorrect. I never said that.
Yeah. So yeah, Jaime's first reaction is Sinister has a nice cape.
Yep, and the cape gag is going to keep coming back. It's kind of a long sequence here, but Sinister and King Jaime kind of go back and forth. Sinister needs permission to go through his land, and they come to somewhat of an agreement where, sure, Sinister and his crew can go through, but King Jaime wants what he prizes the most.
Yeah.
It's good. I'm not a big fan of either of these two, but I think this interaction is a lot of fun, since they're both very egotistical, capricious characters.
Manipulative.
Used to getting their way. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very similar personality type, and having them both like put into like be in opposition to each other more or less is pretty funny.
Yeah, they're like jokesters with power.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like Jaime's up here, like sitting in his throne with a crooked crown on his head, looking bored.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, like it's a similar character beat here. But yeah, and he offers him a clone of his choosing, and Jaime says that does sound good. But they gotta settle. They gotta exchange gifts first.
Yep, Orphan Maker really wants the pony, and well, you can take a good guess as to what King Jaime wants.
Yeah, but yeah, Jaime pretty much just like stonewalls him into this gift exchange, and they get a horse, and Sinister has to give him his cape.
Which we learn in a fantastic way, because we just cut to the next page, and it's them walking through a market, and Psylocke is telling Sinister to slow down, and he's like, "I don't want to talk about it."
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and he's just telling random people walking around that he used to have a cape. It's, yeah.
Yeah, Havok's telling him he looks fine.
Yeah.
It's very funny. But they do get stopped by some of the knights or guards here for Saturnine, as it seems that the horse that they now have was stolen from Saturnine's private ranch, which is pretty bad. Thankfully, they do have Empath with them who can just turn the guards into their favor. However, he says he doesn't want to. Because
Yeah,
why does he care if they all die?
specifically, the request here is, Manuel, my boy, what say we give these priestesses the nudge in the old brain, make them our allies, and maybe the one who called me a japer gets his tongue out, and Empath just responds with, "Nah, I'm good." Like,
It's like, yeah, no, totally fair. He's like, and then he goes on a rant of like, I don't want to be here. Why are we in Narnia? This sucks. I want to go home.
yeah, like, no, I'm not helping. Yeah, they're like, hey, don't do this, dude. This is serious. And Sinister's like, okay, look, surely we can work something out, right? And he says, sure, if I can make Grey Crow my pet. Grey Crow motions to cut him in half, and too late.
Yep. Sinister is like, you know what, Empath, you have a deal. And before Grey Crow can cut him in half, he is now fully under his thrall and is going to tell him how lovely and beautiful he is. And the guards immediately are, very apologetic. One of them is going to give Sinister her cape, and everything works out very nice.
Uh-huh. For a certain definition of nice.
A certain definition of nice. I'm sure when Grey Crow gets his senses back, he will be very understanding of this entire situation.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, this will go fine.
As Psylocke says, this one's going to end badly.
Also, Sinister gets a cape.
Woo! It doesn't really match his whole aesthetic, but at least he has a cape again.
Yeah. It's more colorful than the old one.
Yeah, and we're heading that way, and I'm sure they will succeed on their mission. We don't come back to this till 4 issues until the end of this run.
Yeah, so it is going to be a minute. But hey, that is the look at what the Hellions are doing during the X of Swords. And I gotta say, for a crew that has no swordbearers in it, this is a great way to take this. They get to do their own little thing, they're off at the side, but it's still a lot of fun.
This is by far my favorite Hellions issue so far. I think previous issues were definitely missing more Mr. Sinister. I feel like he's the missing ingredient in this mix.
100%. He's just such a lovely, very distinct voice in this comic that you can read any of his lines and you're like, okay, I know what this guy sounds like. I know what he's gonna do, what he's thinking, all of these things. And yeah, thankfully, it looks like we're gonna have him with this crew for at least a little while longer to be able to see what kind of nonsense they're gonna get into.
It's very funny because he speaks with authority and he's very jokey, but he ultimately ends up stumbling through things. He's not actually done anything useful. He did have that clone to offer to Jamie so that he could let them walk into town. But beyond that, it's not like he's brought much to the team. He's just like stumbling his way through it. That's a lot of fun. I love a character that like fumbles his way to victory.
Yeah.
What's in Mr. Sinister's power set that is useful in the field?
I don't know.
Ooh, it changes just because of the nature of how he is as a character. He kind of has taken different mutant genes and edited his own genes to reciprocate that. So sometimes he's a lot stronger, sometimes he has more stamina, sometimes, he's quicker than everybody else, but it sort of depends. Usually, though, he tends to be kind of one step ahead of everybody. Like, he's the guy who's thinking through every situation and scenario.
Yeah.
But he masks it with the whole fumbling persona and everything.
I think that makes sense. He's a little bit of a, like, drunken master archetype.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it. Just with a lot of, like, mad science thrown in.
That's fun. Yeah, and he's been, like, in this specific instance, he's thrown off guard a lot. Which kind of forces him in a corner, which I think is a lot of fun. Who knows if he has anything up his sleeve? I guess we find out later. But it's a really fun position to put him in, just in charge of all of these losers.
Mm-hmm. On this very, very dangerous mission where they may not all come back. Or at least if they do come back, it might not be, fully themselves.
Uh-huh. But yeah, that's a pretty good issue. I think it might be my favorite of the bunch today.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, I think so too. I do think New Mutants is still pretty good.
New Mutants is pretty good.
And I do have some love for Cable, but I do think Hellions started out so strong that it's hard to beat it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a very strong opener today.
Mm-hmm. But
okay.
let's jump into New Mutants.
Yeah.
So this is New Mutants number 13, written by Ed Bryson. And as Tim said, is going to be the last one written by Ed Bryson. This one was released in October of 2020. And we're going to open up here on Krakoa as we watch Magic kind of meditate on this beautiful, sunset cliffside before she contacts Cable and Cyclops to let them know not only about the tournament, but that Cable needs to get back here ASAP because it's pretty clear he has one of the swords.
Little bit of a preview of what we're going to be seeing next issue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I'm with Magic. What the hell are they doing over in that space station?
Yeah, they're like, hey, maybe just come back here.
Yeah, stop going on a side quest. We are all coordinating all of our issues so they make this overall storyline. You guys are over there fighting some aliens. What's up with that?
Look, the raid is going to start in 10 minutes. You need to get online.
Yeah.
But this is going to start something that Magic and Cyclops kind of have with each other, which is this quiet understanding that Cyclops is preparing for, whatever is going to happen. As he says, you never know, it could always rain. So it sounds like whatever's going on, he's trying to plan for the future, and Magic, without questioning it, is like, okay, you seem to know what you're doing.
Uh-huh. Did Magic leave her sword in the circle? How does this issue work? Shouldn't she be standing there with Wolverine?
I would assume
and
she
Storm?
should be standing there, but maybe you are allowed to leave it at least for a little bit because she does go back and forth.
Yeah.
So
there's a lot of
that would also mean there was
around.
no excuse for Storm not to go to that meeting, but maybe she just didn't want to, which fair.
Yeah, I was a little confused about the timing of when things were happening here. And I think it's also a lot funnier if Magic was supposed to just stand in the circle for 3 days straight, because she kind of immediately placed her sword in the ground.
Yeah, no, I also think it's funny if that's what's happening. From my understanding, this is all chronological, so as this is going, this is how it's happening. Nothing's really taking place in the past unless it says so. So I would assume Magic can leave the circle, even though that's not fun.
Yeah, here's an alternate thing. She leaves the circle, and then Wolverine and Storm look at each other aghast because they had no idea they could leave.
Yeah, they're just standing there, it's been maybe 24 hours and they're still there, and then she just kind of gets up and walks away.
Uh-huh.
But you know what, at that point they've committed, so neither of them are gonna leave.
Okay, yeah, that works. Anyway, this is a training arc.
Yeah, this is a self-confidence training arc between Cypher and Warlock, as Cypher is pretty honest about him not being able to do this as he is not a fighter. Warlock's gonna back him up, but that can only go so far, and that's really gonna be most of this issue. Magic is going to come in and help train him at times. Krakoa is gonna hop in and try and protect Cypher every now and again, but it's gonna really be Cypher coming into his own and really realizing, hey, I am gonna be walking into a death trap, but this is something I have to do.
Yep, that's the issue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very pretty. I love what they do with colors here, especially once Magic starts fighting Doug, everything gets tinted red, and it's very nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some sword lore.
Yeah, I misspoke in, I believe, the last episode or the episode before that, where I said the Soul Sword had already been given data page. This is where it shows up, which is where we basically learn a little bit about Magic's sword. Like I said, it's heavily tied to her backstory. where she was stuck in limbo by the demon Belasco. And her sword is a manifestation of her life force that she can wield. Other people have wielded the sword, but it works best when she does it. So it is not a mutant power or anything, it's just something she innately has.
Yeah.
It's a very cool sword. Under the attributes header, it's got a lot of very cool things. I would love to have this in an MMO.
Yes. It's super cool.
High level gear for sure.
Oh yeah.
Transformation, Eldritch Gateway, Teleportation, Artifact of Regency, Healing and Regeneration, Warded against Breaking, Incantation of Honing. Yeah, I mean all of these are pretty good.
This is a D&D sword, but like a real cracked one.
This is like the one you get after you've been playing the same campaign for 7 years. This is the soul.
Yeah, it's
the
like
sword
here you go.
Yeah. Yeah, this is
this really cool sword.
Yeah, you finished your character side quest. Everyone's level 20. Here you go. Go fight like a god or something.
Yeah. We go to a quiet council meeting, which just seems to be getting continuously more and more empty.
We have Exodus standing in the corner. Sinister's leaving very dramatically, and then, Xavier kind of takes a moment to go and talk to Doug, because it's pretty clear that, hey, he's having a rough time here. And Cypher and Krakoa are now arguing with each other. Because if Cypher does die, Krakoa no longer has a way to actually speak to anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do think it's interesting placing Cypher in this position so that part of like the infrastructure of Krakoa is put at risk. Beyond just personal injury, which is, as before this, what's been explored regarding the possibility of someone dying over in the other world.
Yeah, like it's not just like it's not just like a mutant going over there and maybe dying. Like this is an important part of how like Krakoa functions.
Yeah, and everybody realizes that. Even Cypher, as he's going through this, he understands how important he is, but also it's contrasting with the fact that he really feels like he needs to go.
Yeah. So we're having this, that's kind of the conflict here. Cypher wants to go improve himself, and everybody else is like, okay, I'm not sure. Hopefully Sinister just succeeds and we won't have to worry about this. And that goes into a data page about Hot Hive.
Woo, Hot Hive! This was a very cool, once industrious hive city that now thrums with fever under the name Hot Hive. It used to be a sisterhood of queens that used to rule this place until they were overtaken one by one by a parasite that then grew to control the entire colony.
Pretty sure this is an optional area in Hollow Knight.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. That is totally the vibe for this place.
The hive mind got corrupted by a different hive mind.
It's cool. I like fun world building, and that's what this is.
Yeah.
I will take more, thank you.
There is a fun little paragraph at the end of this. The colony had one mind to speak, one mind to desire, and 1,000,000 bodies to act upon it. Now it is the Hot Hive's mind who speaks and acts for the colony's 1,000,000 bodies. And I'm like, isn't that just the same thing?
Yes, but now it's sinister and scary.
Now it's Hot Hive.
Sure.
Yeah.
But anyway, more fighting. More training, rather.
Yep, more training, more red tint on everything.
It gets a little intense. Krakoa has to intervene.
And Magic and Cypher have a heart-to-heart of like, hey, I'm only doing this to try and protect you because Krakoa's not going to be there in Otherworld when an actual fight breaks out. And Cypher's like, hey, I get it. I don't know what else to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also stop hitting him in the face, to which Magic responds, be more worried about it if we were preparing you for a wedding.
And
it's a good
not
line.
A funeral. It's a fun line. I
really like when the fighting starts, stay close to me, I'll do what I can. It's so fatalistic.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's...
I really like how no one in this issue pulls any punches regarding Cypher's odds.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's very Magic is doing this and she is doing her best, but it's just like, yeah, you will die. Like, these people are the real deal. They will kill you.
Yeah, you're up against people who could wield a blade before they spoke their first words.
Yeah.
You're
These
a
are
translator, like a linguist.
Yeah, these are Apocalypse's children. No.
Mm-hmm.
You know, even Magic is probably going to have a hard time against them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Cypher's struggling here because he's like, this has to mean something, right? I'm willing to put my life on the line. Nexus chimes in with like, yeah, it does, but you're gonna die. Like, you're gonna go over there, die, and like no one's going to care because it won't matter.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
no, fatalistic is a very apt way of putting it.
And he mentions like, yeah, Krakoa wasn't just like trying to figure out a way back at the Quiet Council. It was begging you not to do this, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And yeah, so Exodus figured that out through reading his mind. And Exodus says like, well, when Sinister's plan fails, which I think is very funny that Exodus, who voted for the plan, is very confident this isn't going to work.
Mm-hmm.
But he's like, when this fails, if you were killed because resurrection is suspended, we can't send you.
Yeah. It's a pretty good plan, actually. Something I had missed from the initial setup to this whole story is those predictions from Saturnine are not like hard set in stone. There could be replacements. They're like her suggestions. So in theory, if someone were to drop out, they could still participate. You know, just gotta find another sword wielder. It's just not going to be the one Saturnine alluded to through her tarot reading.
Potentially. I have a feeling because this is so heavily tied into magic and Fey magic in particular, that it has to specifically be those individuals and how they're tied to the runes in the circle. Where this feels like if you tried to subvert it or change somebody and change one of the readings, it's just not going to work for you. You know, it has to be this specific way.
Yeah, this is I've seen 20,000 possible futures, and this is the combination that works.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. I see what you're getting at of like, it's her just being like, hey, do this and you'll win, where I'm seeing it more as, no, you have to do this. You may or may not win, but this is what it has to be.
Yeah, because it feels like that's not the impression these people have if they're talking about, hey, maybe drop out and I can fight in your place.
Yeah, and this is very interesting because I do feel like there are a lot of mutants that aren't really approaching this like it is this way or the highway, even though that does seem to be the case. Xavier and Magneto, I think, are the big ones here, but, you know, Sinister's kind of doing his whole, like, let's just try to subvert it this way as well.
Yeah.
Exodus clearly doesn't seem to believe.
No, but yeah, that's actually a good point. There is, like, a good mix here. Because in order to believe in Sinister's plan, you have to think that it has to be set in stone, whereas, you know, everybody else is like, well, it could be flexible.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Seems like everyone's just kind of working off of the best info or what they feel is right.
Warlock shows up to defend him, as well as Krakoa, and Exodus says fine and drops him and says, hey, you really shouldn't do this.
I like how this panel portrays both Warlock and Krakoa coming in to defend Cypher, which is just being very threatening tree and very threatening weird black and yellow guy.
Yeah, yeah. I love when Warlock is drawn like this. This is very, like, it feels like this is, like, classic, like, 80s New Mutants here. It's just, everything's very, like, abstract and kind of just weird looking. And I dig this art a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very particular for him, you know. I didn't know that either until I looked up some panels of the original New Mutants. And yeah, I don't want to say he's drawn like an emoji because that sounds very weird and demeaning, but that's kind of what he's drawn as. He's just an animated character in a non-animated world.
Yeah, he's just this kind of weird looking robot man.
Yeah. It's kind of
but yeah,
scribbles. But yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, that is sketchy is like almost how I would say it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it works really well. But yeah, we get a data page here about the Warlock sword, or just Warlock as a sword.
Yep. Just a tiny bit on him as a background. We've talked about it before, but he is a mutant phalanx, which is the same thing that was in, House and Powers of X, the phalanx and everything. That's what Warlock is, but he is a mutant one where instead of being in a communal phalanx, he became an individual.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's a note here as well about how they were hiding Warlock from everybody, but once it became clear that Warlock was the Blade, no one was really shocked.
Yeah, which is interesting considering we just had giant-size X-Men Nightcrawler, where that is part of the plot of, I think it's Magic that finds out that, Warlock is his arm, and they're like, oh, just keep it a secret,
Yeah.
So I do have more on that. It's not confirmed here or there, but I'm going to talk about it much later once we're done with X of Swords and once we kind of get going again, because there is going to be some behind-the-scenes changes that are going to be going on or begin to go on as this is happening, and there might be some shifts in story here and there.
In terms of like production?
In terms of production, in terms of who is directing behind the scenes, as well as the big picture direction, all of the stories are going to be going in.
Okay, well, cool.
Yeah, but for X of Swords, it's pretty much written in stone, so we're going to be good to go for that. And once we're done with that data page, we're going to go back to Cypher, where, again, poor Mondo has been taken over by Krakoa, as Krakoa just begs him not to do this.
Yeah, Mondo comes in here, Krakoa takes him over, says, X's was right, we need to find another way. I could put you in exile, you don't have to die, but we need to hide you. And Cypher just responds with, no, I need to do this. I was chosen. If I don't go, it's possible she won't accept a replacement. And I can't send someone else to die in my place. I can't live with that guilt. And we shift to, it's not Cypher talking to Mondo's stomach anymore. It's Cypher finishing the conversation next to Krakoa. They finally are actually having this heart-to-heart, and he just tells him, like, you need to let me do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then we cut to a final fight scene with Cypher and Magic. And Cypher's getting better. He's kind of reading the language of battle. He's holding his own a lot more, but he figures out, he now knows it's clear. She's holding back. And she says, yeah, you've gotten better. I am proud of you. And do you think I have a chance? And she asked him, are you sure you want to hear this? And she says, okay, if you raise your sword to fight someone, that'll be the last thing you do.
Yeah.
He just doesn't have it.
Yeah.
You are, this is not you.
Yeah.
Just very honest. Yeah, just honest. I mean, even compared to the other two at the Circle, which is Storm and Wolverine, they are veteran fighters whether or not they have a sword.
Yeah, they don't need the sword.
Yeah, they don't need the sword, whereas Cypher, even with a sword, is not even going to measure up to a fourth of them. So, pretty bleak for him as an outlook, and that is going to be the end of the issue. It doesn't look good for Doug going into X of Swords. He is definitely the weak link out of the Krakoa side of everything.
Yeah. I do like this a lot in terms of having a kind of weakling character to go into this battle and having to look out for him is fun. And I also like the whole threaten the infrastructure of Krakoa, part of the like communication that exists between Krakoa and the mutants. It introduces a lot of ideas and a lot of complications in a fun way.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just, hey, this beloved character may die.
Yeah, it's like...
There are stakes beyond that. And there's someone whose threat does not come from like being just a staple of the series. More like what he's got going on is he's not a natural-born fighter, swordsman. So yeah, fun stuff. I really like this issue as well. Not as strong as Hellions.
But yeah, it's. I agree. It's a solid issue. This is a good one for. I'm glad Breeson got to do this last issue.
Yeah. No, I agree.
It's a good one to go out on for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, want to go over to Cable?
Yeah.
Yep. We'll cover our last one for this bunch here. This is going to be Cable number 5, written by Gary Duggan and released also in October of 2020. We're going to start right up back on the peak, 280 miles above Earth. This is the massive space station that Saturnine kind of hinted that maybe they should go take a look at. Cable has reactivated it, and he, Cyclops, and Jean decide, hey, you know what? Why don't we go and explore this place?
There is no one around, which is weird for a space station that should be populated.
A giant government-run space station.
Uh-huh.
But the team splits up to go and take a look, and we are interrupted with another data page. I think this one is actually really interesting and fun.
So, real quick before we get into that, I like the Summers banter a lot. There's a little like back and forth here between Cable and Cyclops where Cyclops asks Jean if she's feeling anything and Cable responds no, and Cyclops is like, oh, I was talking to Jean, and he's like, I'm a telepath, and he just says like, you don't practice enough, and it's just it's a fun little just father-son interaction that I think is very nice. Jean pops in and says like, boys please, and it's just, I like it.
It's fun.
It's fun.
This gets a lot of like sympathy points from me after the X-Men 97 stuff we covered.
Yes, same. It's very interesting to go from that look at those characters back into the Krakoan look at the characters, especially Sinister, because his voice does not match what's going on with him.
I cannot read this in like X-Men 97 Sinister's voice.
No.
I can't.
It's too deep and menacing for what he's saying.
Yeah.
But no, it is nice to see Cable have time with Jean and Scott with all of, everything that went on in 97.
Yeah, and you can definitely like draw a line between those two, between this and that.
Oh, absolutely.
But yeah, they do split up, which is always a bad idea. To not split up when investigating the potentially haunted space station.
Yes.
Yeah, it's fine. You just got a little dead space going on here.
Well.
Yeah, and how did that go for everyone involved? I'm sure it went well.
It's all right. But yeah, we get our first data page here about Blightspoke.
It's so cool.
We opened with the line, "This place is poison."
What I wrote down kind of makes it seem a lot sillier than how it's put, but this is the garbage bin of the multiverse. This is the celestial graveyard of failed realities, and is home to not only contaminated remnants of those realities, but also leftovers from dead realities, dying realities, and everything else that would basically kill life. That's where this goes.
I would just not go to a place called Blightspoke.
Yeah, it doesn't seem great.
It's in
but
the
also
name.
there's a sheriff here called Gaia Whitechapel, and she has a posse.
Yeah, and it sounds really cool.
Yeah.
So apparently she and her posse are the only crew who can go around and mine this place because, as Tim opened up with, this place is poison. This place sucks. But yeah, that's really all we're gonna get about that here. There's, a couple paragraphs, but yeah, don't go there.
Yeah, no one goes here. It's not a good place. Not a fun place to be.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so back to the space station, and Cable's like, it looks like there's people's shadows were burned into the bulkhead here. It's a little freaky and weird. Then they get the call from Magic that we saw the other end of in New Mutants, just to kind of time date this a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it felt to me like this was the second call they got. Because she specifically says, I was serious before.
Like, you need to get back here.
Yeah.
Yes, you're correct.
I think like it ramps up the tension a notch when she's calling you twice and saying, hey, I was serious before. You really need to get down here.
Yeah.
Stop having your space adventures.
Yeah, stop the side quest.
Like, yeah, we do Dead Space later. We gotta get you down here. And Cyclops doesn't really want him to go. He says, hey, can you give me the sword? Which I think is... It's nice. It doesn't really work like that, but I think Cable literally says that next page.
Mm-hmm. But the two of them get to a hastily welded bulk door that Cyclops just decides is a very good idea to open.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Jean has found some dude standing around and says, who just greets her with, you turned it back on, didn't you?
You never want someone to say that in a creepy empty spaceship.
You powered the station back on. Why would you do that? Like,
and this lone survivor of the space station is essentially going to give us a Dead Space style creepy dialogue, explaining that, hey, we opened something maybe we shouldn't have. It came through and killed the station within minutes. And not only burned out this man's eyes and burned a sigil into his head, but has driven him more or less insane, as he is going to be sharing all of this to Jean. She is going to take a look into his mind as to what happened, and then he is going to open the airlock on himself and shoot himself out into space.
Yep.
Yeah.
This is a cutscene-ass section here. Just exposition.
Yes. A cutscene is a good way to put this, yeah. He ejects himself into the airlock and then the camera spins around and you're back in control again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Jean just looking at him. He's like behind the glass or something. She can't reach him.
Yeah.
Yeah, which theoretically she could just control him and make him stop, but yeah, it's the cutscene rules, so she can't do that.
Yeah, plus she gets like psychically chucked from him exposing her to what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because it's like the power here gets reversed. She tries to look into his mind. He stops her and then like forcefully shows her.
Yeah.
Which
and
is
then just ejects himself with this.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, Jean says, hey, bad stuff went on here.
Don't open any doors.
Yeah, and Cyclops says we know, and they question if Saturnine was doing this on purpose. And we cut to them standing next to a big old portal thing.
Yep, This very creepy blue portal of black gateway. I kept trying to figure out what it's made of. I think it's the creatures that end up walking through it, just all mashed into a gateway.
Yes, it's like feels like bug carcasses, like shells.
Yeah.
It is very Alien, like Alien the franchise. I mean.
Yeah.
Yes, I think it's the very smooth
What's the
face masks.
H.R. Geiger stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So Jean runs up to them and explains that this is a faceless death, and these aliens are something called the Vescora. And we see 3 of them walk through, and as Sergio said, they are very alien-like. They have different body types, but they all seem to have, 4 arms, 2 legs, covered head to toe in this like black reflective armor that they have.
I'm very curious about how this is going to eventually connect into the rest of X of Swords, but right now I was like, what are we doing here? There's nothing to do with what I want to see.
Side quest.
It's a side quest.
I don't want side quests. I want
Yeah,
the main thing.
I know,
Yeah.
and I do too.
Why are we doing this?
And you know, there's also the double thing here. Not to cut you off, but that the Vescora are completely new. This is something brand new that they introduced right here. So whatever it is they're gonna do with it, I don't know.
Here it is. Yeah.
Yeah, this feels like extremely episodic. This is like watching a show become serialized in a way that it normally isn't. Like this is part 7, I think. Is it part 7 or 8? It's part 8.
Part 8
of X of Swords. And then just having a one-off Monster of the Week episode right in the middle, and it's really jarring to me that we just get these silly alien dudes. They're like black and green. It's cool. I think they look alright. But still, like having them show up in the middle of like the whole swords thing, just thinking about Otherworld, the stakes of the champions fight, and then there's these like silly little guys just showing up to
here's some dudes
have their moments in the spotlight. But it shouldn't be. Get out of here.
Yeah. Which, to be fair, they do a pretty good job of getting him out of here. But yeah, it's very odd. Yeah, so they fight some a little bit. They tell Cable, "Hey, go turn off the power." Jean's like, "Let me see where these dudes are coming from." She peeks through the door, and we just get this big ol' page of what looks like a giant obelisk with these guys just like pouring out the tip.
Yeah, super evil looking. Does not look like a fun place.
Yeah. Jean comes back out and just tells Scott, "Go nuts."
Yeah, just full throttle on that thing.
Yeah, so they do that, and Cable unplugs the station, and we did it.
Yeah, I really like how Scott just turns the glasses on and they're just like pulverized instantly, no contest. He just can keep this up for as long as needed before Cable is able to just pull the plug.
Yeah, that it's a pretty cool display of power here. It's just like you get like hit by this overwhelming force, but it's just like, oh, but they're bottlenecking through this door.
Yeah, and even to add into that force is Cable chiming in and be like, "Hey, is everything okay? The station just lurched."
Yeah,
and Jean's like, "No, it was just your dad."
It's like, good job.
Thumbs up.
Very lucky they never thought about placing a second door.
I know, right?
Yeah, that would be bad. But yeah, we get a data page of a transmission. This is our first data page talking about a sword or a place in Otherworld for like issues at this point. But yeah, this is a transmission about the peak flight data recorder during when this thing showed up, and this happened in a matter of 10 minutes. The entire station was killed.
Yep. 78.1% of the peak crew has been terminated in the span of 10 minutes. It's a shame they didn't have a Cyclops on board, or else that would have been a non-issue.
Yeah. Cable walks back through the door, says the Light of Krakoa's here. Magic says, "That's not the name of the sword. That's lame. Don't do that." Cable ignores that, says, "It's good to see you, Doug. I didn't know you were a swordsman," to which Cypher just responds, "I'm not."
Cable just goes, "Oh."
Yeah. And then we cut...
Bad, just a fumble of an intro there on both ends for Cable.
Yeah, and then we just cut to a data page of the Light of Galador. I really like Kid Cable.
He's very silly. He becomes more endearing with time, and I like him because you can tell he's trying to be that really cool guy who thinks he's cool, but he's actually just a really big nerd.
Yeah, he wants to be that gruff old cool man. Just the silent badass, but it's just not that guy.
No, not yet. That'll happen at some point.
He shows up, tries to be badass, but he awkwardly fumbles it, and it's very funny. But yeah, we get a data page here about the Light of Galador, and
if you have been reading Cable with us, you know everything about this sword. It is another retread for those who have not read everything leading up to this event.
Oh, did you notice the part in here about Hickman's Avengers? Because that is like the first couple of paragraphs. Or, well, the first paragraph at least.
Yeah, when it talks about the builders?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was fun. There's been little bits here and there where it's referencing, like, incursions and everything.
Yeah.
That's been really fun.
Yeah, but yeah, that's all a reference to that. The paragraph here about the planet Galador was destroyed not long ago by the ancient race known as the Builders. Like, we saw that happen in a Hickman run earlier. So that's kind of neat, but yeah. Otherwise, yeah, this is literally just it's summarizing Cable.
Yeah. Although probably the only other piece of information we should know is that the sword is also it holds a lot of information. Apparently multiple zettabytes and even yottabytes of information, which sound like funny made-up words. But Cable has not been able to put down the sword long enough for anyone to actually go through the data that is on it.
Oh, the other part I do like about this data page is just the very last section here. A weapon of such power should probably not be wielded by an inexperienced warrior, but Cable is unwilling to yield the blade, and that, I feel like, just says a lot about the character.
He wants to be cool. He renamed his sword.
He wants the sword.
He's he's the kid who saw Cloud with his big buster sword and said, that's the peak of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a cool sword. It's kind of like a buster sword. Just looking at the...
just smaller.
At the profile, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then we have this fun last little bit here as Cyclops and Jean come through a portal here and begin to immediately have a psychic conversation with Magic. As Doug is just kind of standing off to the side and goes like, hi? Because nobody's speaking out loud to each other.
Yeah, but I like this a lot because there's just a very... There is so much confidence here in this like little conversation. Magic is just kind of like, you got a plan? And Cyclops like, yeah, I got a plan. And it's just like, yeah, we got some stuff, we're trying to figure it out, and we just got a couple things to work out. We think we handle that, and they just kind of very quickly come to the conclusion, yes, we can. And then Cable notices everyone's smiling, and he's just like, yeah, we're gonna be okay. Like, it's just, there is a very overt confidence here from Cyclops, which I appreciate a lot. Like, this is just what he does.
Yeah.
He's got something up his sleeve.
Yeah.
Gonna be fun.
But yeah, that is the end of this issue for Cable. I think we're all in agreement. Probably the weakest of the three.
Yeah. I don't know if I want the aliens to come back and like tie into stuff, but I'm willing to bet they are, because if not, then the Saturnine thing, sending them to the space station, doesn't make much sense. We'll see where that goes, if anywhere.
Yeah.
I'm keeping my lips sealed.
Yeah, that's fine, of course. Looking at the circle here with the 5 champions we've got. How would you rate them in terms of like survival likelihood?
Well,
knowing that you already are probably aware of who's making it out.
Yeah, just based on like what they are as characters.
Yeah.
I would say this one's hard because I feel like these are 5 characters where like Cypher feels like the obvious pick for he might die, but that one almost
it's probably on the bottom.
Yeah. But like Wolverine, like he's at the top.
You think Wolverine's at the top? I
don't put him at the top. I put Storm at the top.
Same.
No, I put Wolverine's too Wolverine. He's too like narratively. He's too big of a deal to what they have going on.
Well, okay, true. If we're talking about just killing off, then yeah, it's also very hard to kill Wolverine. But, if we're just talking like, okay, who would win in their respective tournament?
Oh, yeah, sure.
I'm putting Storm at the top, because Wolverine could be outsmarted.
Wolverine did get turned into a skeleton the other day and survived.
Yes.
Yeah.
And got surprised by zombies.
Uh-huh.
Storm is... like
insane.
by far, in a way, the strongest person here. I don't even think that's a debate. Like, I think that's just like a fact.
Yeah.
She's the only one here that's an Omega mutant. So, like, yeah, if we're talking just in terms of like power scaling, then yeah, it's Storm. But like, if we're talking like narrative plot device, then I'd say like probably Wolverine.
I think that's fair. I think if we're talking like narratively, I think Magic and Cable actually have the most chance here to lose. I think Cypher just as his place as the translator of Krakoa means he's probably safe.
Yeah, if we're talking sheer just in terms of like strength, I would probably rank them Storm, maybe Magic over Wolverine. That I'm gonna go Wolverine just like based on experience, and then Magic, and then Cable, and then Cypher.
I was wondering what side you're going to go in terms of Wolverine versus Magic.
Yeah,
that one's a tough one.
I think it's tough. I kind of want to see them in the what was it? That arena
the Crucible. Yeah, the Crucible.
Yeah, I'd love to see those two duke it out.
Yeah, because Wolverine does have the raw power and the experience, but Magic also has experience, but she can also teleport.
Yeah.
And I feel like that adds a lot into your power set if you have a sword. See also Nightcrawler in X-Men 97, when you could teleport and have a sword. It's super cool.
And like Magic's a war captain here, so clearly like she's doing something right.
Yeah.
In terms of battle power, so yeah. Like, Magic does have her stuff going on. Wolverine's just been fighting forever.
Yeah.
But yeah.
If we rated them based on swordsmanship, is Magic at the top?
Yes.
Yeah, right? It's gotta be.
Yeah, I would actually maybe put Wolverine over... Well, I don't know.
Well, in swordsmanship... I think it would go Magic and then Wolverine.
I was actually not sure about Storm here. Because if we're talking just like sheer swordsmanship, there was like an entire era of Storm where her mutant power was just knives, which aren't a sword, but are pretty close to a sword.
I was also thinking that, but I'm like, she had knives, not swords. If her sword was smaller and more knife-like, then yes.
I mean, it's not a huge sword.
It is not a huge sword. But I don't know if knife skills translate.
Right.
But also Wolverine lived in Japan for a while and learned the
like that man has learned the way of the blade. He while
it is true. That is true.
While Storm was in Wakanda, Wolverine was studying the blade.
Oh God.
While Magic was in limbo.
Wolverine was living the blade. Everything was about it.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
All right, good night, everybody.
Oh, man. What a way to end it.
Yeah. So, next time, we're doing Excalibur number 13, X-Men number 13, and X of Swords Stasis number 1. That's our second of the big issues.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that one is going to be a fun one. Also, I believe a fairly hefty issue, if I remember correctly, but a good one.
That's going to be about our midpoint, I believe.
Yes, it goes Creation, Stasis, and then it ends at X of Swords Destruction.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, I've been having a lot of fun with this event. I really like how well coordinated it is. I really like, I was a little put off by the fact that the individual issues that, belong to other series kind of are just a continuation of the previous one. Like, this is all ordered chronologically. The series names don't matter all that much. We're just telling a story. That's you gotta get all of the issues if you wanna see what's going on. Like, we've even got the part numbering stuff to make sure that people are following the story correctly. But I really appreciate how everything's coming together. It's a really cool story. Everyone's part of it. It's not just about the 10 champions. I was a little wary also of how the possibility space got collapsed into a big battle, basically, into a big battle royale. But I really like how it's being handled so far with all of the quests of getting the swords and getting everyone together, and then all of the stakes that are being set. I think that stuff with Hellions is interesting. I'm really looking forward to seeing where this goes. I really cool event, especially in comparison with the kind of mini event we had with the... I don't even remember what those guys' names were.
Oh, Empire.
The
Empire.
Kotati.
Yeah, the Kotati.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is something to be said about the way comics does events. Usually, I feel like it's more in the terms of Empire, where things kind of relate, but not really.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas X of Swords came out the gate and was like, nah, we scheduled everything and it all makes sense.
Yeah,
it's
nice.
Really impressive, especially considering that this is like overseen by someone, but it's still like a whole bunch of writers.
Yeah, and artists.
Making sure everything aligns correctly. Yeah. Even if you've got to have Magic walk off her spot in the circle for a while for things to work, that's fine. It's looking at the scale and the ambition of this whole thing, it's really impressive, and I'm really having fun with it in a way that I just haven't with previous stuff.
Yeah, and I'm really excited to get more into this because next time we are gonna be getting to the halfway point, which is really fun. And yeah, I'm very excited to see what you think as this keeps going and we just get deeper and deeper into the plot.
Yeah. I don't know if it's going to stick the landing, but so far I'm really enjoying the ride. I think that's what matters. And maybe it does stick the landing. Who knows?
We'll see.
Yeah, we will see. But that is going to wrap up our episode here for today. So if you've made it this far with us, thank you so much for listening. If you could give us a review on your favorite podcasting app of choice, that would be great. It helps us get out there and find more people who might want to read this or at least listen along to enjoy this era of the X-Men. If you would like to send us any questions, comments, who you think might win so far in this Circle of Swords, you can send us a message at studyofx@gmail.com, and we might just read it here on the podcast. If you are looking for this podcast on social media to follow it, we do keep our schedule there, as well as bits of information about each episode. Sometimes I post, some panels of the comics that we've read. You can find it on X, also known as Twitter, Tumblr, and on Blue Sky. They're all under Study of X. And if you're looking for me on social media, you can find me at Sawneeks, SAWNEEKS, on Blue Sky. Currently, I am diving headfirst into the new Final Fantasy XIV expansion, so I'm not really on there. But sometimes I will check it every now and again when I'm not adventuring in Tyrol. And Sergio, if they are looking for you to let you know how much of a dork Cable is, where can they find you?
I'm in Blightspoke. I know I said I wouldn't go to Blightspoke, but there was this gate and it beckoned to me, and you know how it is. I just ended up here. It sucks.
I'm sorry. Is the land really poison?
It is poison, both metaphorically and actually.
Oof, that's a rough one. Okay, well, if you do send a message to Sergio all the way to Blightspoke, maybe also get him a ticket out of there.
Please get me out of Blightspoke.
And Tim, if they want to tell you how wonderful and amazing being a part of the Hot Hive is, where can they find you to let you know and give you an application to join?
Fishing.
Fishing?
Fishing.
Gotcha. Okay. Anywhere in particular, or just in general?
The former nation known as Dryador.
Okay. Hopefully there are still some ocean there, so you can fish, but hey, you know what, you do you.
The fish are boiled for you, it's good.
I don't know how that works with fishing, but hey, you know what? I respect it.
Yep. Alright, that'll be the episode.
Alright, until next time. Later, mutants.
Bye.
Bye.